Hello, Bl'Artagnan here, bringing you In the Garden of Evil, the fourth boss rush Lufenia. Starting off with a team of Tifa, Y'shtola, and Aerith. She's finally here, Tifa, ready to beat down all of our foes with an absurd amount of damage. Truly just kind of disgusting. Look at this. I know Garland's very popular for this stage because the boss is debuff immune and his auras are great versus that. Plus he has a ton of delay and you really don't want this guy taking turns. I decided to go a similar but slightly different route with Y'shtola as my delayer and Aerith as my aura debuffer. She actually has a stronger defense down aura than Garland does, go figure. And I figure I can bring Garland Call and double up on that. Meanwhile, Y'shtola is here to do a bunch of turn jumping and delaying, keeping this guy off us. If he does attack us, then he's going to use the move Charge, which frames his turn, makes him, I think, immune to delay, probably a bunch of other stuff, damage reduction, I don't really know. And then he attacks us, and I'm sure it'll probably kill us or something, I'm not sure, but it's one of those things where I don't really want to find out. So, I'm going to go ahead and just keep chucking stones at this guy for the most part. Although, halfway through, I think it's time to burst with Y'shtola. Get that burst effect going. Nice thing about this burst, similar to Garland's, is it has a bunch of built-in delay effects. And the way I like to do it, of course, is break him at some point during it, and then use the LD to unbreak. Weave in a Flatus Misery when appropriate, and stone EX stones the rest of the puzzle. So that's a pretty convenient launch there since Tifa was at max battery. A little sad actually in hindsight because it means we couldn't use Beat Rush, but we actually wanted to refresh our EX buff anyway, so it kind of worked out. Yeah, Tifa's just nuts. I know this has already kind of been discussed at length by a bunch of people, but definitely a character who was tuned more for future content than for present, which is something we can take advantage of. Using that Cloud LD to give us some breathing room here. Yeah, for this boss rush, I decided to go kind of full synergy stomp with just a few modifications here and there to what kind of the most common teams are. Boss rushes are quite synergy biased with the whole giving the entire stat bonuses thing. So I definitely felt like that was something I wanted to take advantage of here. Still putting out okay damage. This next move is going to probably be a bit of overkill. But I'm trying... Okay, there we go. Never mind. I misremembered. I thought I used the LD there for some reason, but Beat Rush ended up sealing the deal, which is nice. So these guys, these jellyfish, we've seen these a few times now, and it feels like every time they show up, they're kind of a pushover now. We saw, Jack's Lost Chapter, Abyss, and now this. They're probably one of the least threatening parts of this fight. Because the only really mechanics they have are they have to take Brave damage for the orb. They have shields that they throw up, which can kind of get in the way of that a little bit, but, not so much that you can't break the shield and then kill them. And they have their concentrate mechanic where you need to take a certain number of actions before their turn, otherwise they mess you up. So we're running pretty low on the actions, so we're going to go ahead and go as hard as we can with that Meteor Crusher. And there's one of the shields we mentioned. Excuse me. Allergies are kind of wrecking me today. We're low enough that we can actually throw out some Seal Evils there. And I kind of want Tifa monopolizing turns as much as we can, given the amount of damage she puts out per turn. This one we can start throwing out LDs pretty willy-nilly with Y'shtola. We're almost done, really. Just beat Russian, beat Russian, beat Russian. Last Scion's Holy, and now I think, if I remember right, for the most part, we just are going to spam Battlecry here, because I figured, you know, 256k is better than whatever Aerith or Y'shtola is going to do damage-wise. We only have a few actions left. I end up using my last beat rush here to get him below 28%, or below 29% to bring up that last shield. Don't know if that was actually a great play or anything, but I wanted to take advantage of the HP damage. Now, on to our next team. Go ahead and say right now, I brought Exdeath Call on Edward in hopes that Edward would go first and I'd be able to use that to get rid of that shield that was there. Unfortunately, it didn't quite play out this way, and it ended up being kind of dead weight. I mean, I guess, you know, it applies the curse debuff, which is nice, but like, I figured, you know, whatever, get it on there. Not the best use of a call slot. Likewise, actually, in hindsight, I don't think I actually used Edward LD call on Y'shtola during that last team fight. It was kind of supposed to be an emergency button for this wave once we got to wave 2, but as you saw, we didn't end up giving them any turns at all for the most part. This team is going to be doing a bit more of that. We actually have a kind of a weird two-phase approach, because for this part of the fight, we're going to be using Celes' trap to do a lot of off-turn damage. We're saving Ultimecia's burst for the next wave, the soul cages. Obviously, Ultimecia loves Boss Rush because it lets her just spam skills and charge that EX and not have to worry about longevity, because she's not going to be here long enough for it to matter. Here's something I did not realize until this fight, that that move delays if it breaks you, because I don't think it ever actually came up. As I mentioned, these jellyfish things tend to be kind of pushovers. And there they go. On to wave 3, the soul cages. Actually, I didn't fight these guys during Chaos because I was taking a break from the game, so I heard these guys are nasty, but by the time I showed up to fight them, power creep had happened, and I kind of stomped the fight and was like, well, that was a little bit annoying, and found out later that it was one of the most obnoxious fights on release. Luckily, these guys are a bit easier to deal with. They cleanse a whole lot. They cleanse at the usual HP thresholds. That is 29, 49, 79. They catch on fire and cleanse all debuffs, including framed ones, which is kind of obnoxious. And they actually do it again if you hit them with ice damage, which puts the fire out. But it's infrequent enough that you can play around it. I'm just not bringing anything that I really need to worry about them cleansing. Oh no, they've cleansed Ultimecia's debuff, we'll just put it back on. Celes isn't getting enough turns for me to worry about it either. I guess Edward's feeling a little bit silly standing there. Actually, Edward's kind of a goofy pick for Boss Rush anyway, just because his hide takes 2 turns to hide and then return. You'll actually see I let it fall off because I've been avoiding pressing the button because I don't want to waste the 2 actions. It kind of bites me in the butt, I think, because I miss out on some auras as a result. But unsurprisingly, synergy stomping this fight with 3 super synergy characters and 3 burst weapons it's a pretty comfy time. So here we go. This is where I let the debuff that he gets from hide and return fall off. And I'm noticing, I feel like that should be hitting for just a little bit harder. Especially there, I'm like, So the thought process here was I was hoping to get him below the other tree below the cleanse threshold to cleanse, so I could reapply Ultimecia's defense down with her skill 2 on both of them. But then I realized I'd need to hit them ice damage anyway, so I just used the LD, and that ended up being kind of a bit of a waste of a call on Cam there. So as you can see, my calls for this fight were really well optimized. So right now what we're trying to do is we want to get these guys below 29% before this team is gone, because we brought both Edward and we also brought Bart's LD call in order to deal with that that insta-break mechanic that they have at 29%, which we've been seeing so much of lately. Goodness, when she can spam skills, it feels like Ultimecia takes every turn that the team gets. So one turn to go, so let's see if we can deal 5% of their health during a summon phase. This is kind of dumb. I did this to try to even up their health, which really didn't make any sense in hindsight, but now we can hit them at the same time with the LD call, or with the LD call, with the regular LD. It also queues them nicely up for Edward to use Lullaby and completely neuter them. Now I see the EX is running there, but I wanted to get the 100% spread damage, both from Ultimecia's skill 2 and from Edward's LD there, since I have enough. Could go ahead and finish off with one last Celes LD. It's time for team number 3. We have Bartz, Keiss, and Galuf. This is actually, I think, my first time using Galuf since I pulled the LD, outside of his co-op, which doesn't really count. Kind of an interesting team for me, because I'm running, Keiss, who's a delaying launch character, and Galuf, who is a tank. It ends up actually working out really well. The two of them kind of, not that they complement each other, but they kind of shore up each other's weak points. Weak points isn't even necessarily the way to put it. Basically, one does good offense, one does good defense, and that works real well together, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. So we use the Gabranth call to HP damage up on these guys since they're done with their cleanses and try to burn through them so we can get on to killing the last wave. We're going to do that. That double hand splash damage. There we go, cutting down some trees. Now the Bio Souls, the Keiss bosses actually, although less obnoxious, putting on the Gabranth LD call. I use the LD call in the second wave because it takes longer to go into effect because you need to apply 2 debuffs separate to it. And the other fight I wanted to get that HP damage up immediately because I knew it wouldn't be very long that they'd be having it at all. Now I figure, we can get the 4 debuffs we need over the course of however many turns it takes to kill these guys. Using hero support to set up a pair of launches during the burst phase, and trying to use a couple of Bartz's moves here and there on the non-launchable target to battery the party a few times first. So there we go. Decent little launch off there. Probably going to be one of the higher damage Bartz burst phases I'll be seeing. I do really love that animation. It's the whole power of friendship teamwork thing. It's really kind of cool. 2 million damage, not bad, Bartz. And for once we have a giant Brave Gain that doesn't require insta-break to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and max out Galuf's physical dodge. Kind of toyed with the idea there of using Bartz's AA to charge his BT by an additional turn, but laziness won out, and we're going to get stack number 3 right here. And the defense and offense I mentioned, Keiss has been fueling our damage with his launches, but Galuf now is able to kind of hop up and do a bit of counter damage here and there, keeps the party safe. Probably could have used an even more aggressive setup than bringing Galuf, but I really wanted to, since I you know, pull his LD and everything. Pitied it, in fact, if I remember right. So yeah, screw you, Galuf. You're definitely being used on this team because it's certainly costly enough to get your services. There we go. Another nice, powerful launch. I do like the idea of bringing Keiss on teams that aren't just focused around delay and launch, because I really enjoy how dynamic his playstyle is with that turn jumping and the, you know, the utility of his EX and all this stuff. Like, he's a really cool character on top of being like an awesome launch bot. Granted, I think he is probably at his best when he is in those delay launch teams, but it's nice to pull him out and kind of remember how to play him outside of that. I opt to actually not use his EX there because I know this is going to hurt him a whole lot more than it hurts us. Here we go. That's some turn efficiency right there. I mean, 27 actions to go. What do I care? There we go. Finish him off with launch. And there you have it. Boss Rush number 4 in the books. Bit of a synergy stomp, but I had fun using characters I enjoyed. Ultimecia, Ultimecia, Keiss. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Adios.